Ever get that feeling of searching for something online and coming up empty, even though you know the information is out there? Today, we're diving deep into some groundbreaking research from Cornell University contextual document embeddings. It might sound like a mouthful, but trust me, it's about to change the way we think about searching for information.
It's fascinating how this research tackles a problem we encounter every day. You know how you might search for marketing strategies and get completely different results on a digital marketing blog versus a company's internal wiki?
Totally. It's like those words take on a whole new meaning depending on where you find them.
Exactly. And for years, even with all the advancements in search engines, they've struggled to grasp that nuance.
They're kind of stuck on the surface, right? Like just looking at keywords without really getting the deeper meaning.
It's like trying to understand a joke by just looking up the definitions of the words you'll miss the context that makes it funny. Traditional search often uses statistical methods like IDF, which essentially looks at how rare a word is to figure out how important it is.
So the rarer the word, the more weight it carries.
You got it. But the problem is, a word like strike in a baseball article means something totally different than a strike in a labor union report.
Okay, so how does this new research, this CDE, help AI get past those limitations?
That's where things get really interesting. Imagine instead of just looking up words in isolation, we teach AI to understand them the way we do by considering the surrounding information, the context.
So, like, how you wouldn't just analyze the word cool on its own, but also look at whether it's next to jazz or cucumber to get the full picture?
Exactly. CDE focuses on understanding a document's neighbors, other related documents in the same dataset. Think of it like this. Instead of just analyzing each word in a sentence by itself, CDE looks at the whole sentence to figure out what each word means in that particular situation.
Okay, I'm starting to see how that could lead to some much smarter search results. But how do they actually teach the AI to do that?
They use a two-pronged approach: contextual training and contextual architecture. Imagine training a detective to solve crimes in a specific city. They'll learn the layout, the common motives, the local slang, all the things that make that city unique. That's kind of what contextual training does for this AI.
It's like giving the AI a crash course in the language and nuances of a particular field or topic, right?
You got it. And this is key because it allows the model to pick up on subtle differences in meaning that would be lost on a more general AI.
Okay, so the AI gets schooled in this specific area of knowledge, but then how does it actually use that knowledge to understand a document?
That's where the second part comes in. Contextual architecture. Imagine our detective now has a framework for understanding the city's crime patterns. When they get a new case, they don't just look at the evidence in isolation, they use their knowledge of the city to see how it all connects.
So they're looking for clues in the bigger picture, the context of the city.
Exactly. CDE uses a two-stage model to do this. The first stage is like creating a rough sketch of the overall context. Then the second stage uses that sketch to zoom in and analyze the target document with much greater accuracy.
It's like the AI is using its knowledge of the surrounding neighborhood to understand the specific house, right?
That's a great way to put it. And the results of this approach are really impressive. The researchers tested CDE on something called the MTB benchmark.
MTB sounds kind of like a futuristic sporting event.
It's more like an obstacle course for AI. They're tested on a variety of tasks, from retrieving specific information to classifying documents and grouping them together based on their meaning.
So how did CDE do? Did it conquer the course?
It absolutely crushed it, achieving state-of-the-art results. But here's the really exciting part. It showed the most dramatic improvements in specialized fields where traditional methods often struggle.
You mean like medical research or financial reports areas with their own unique language and complexities?
Exactly. Think about trying to find a specific piece of information in a mountain of medical journals. CDE could help researchers cut through the noise and find precisely what they need, even if it's written in a highly technical language.
That could be a game changer for so many fields. We're not just talking about making search engines a little bit better. This could accelerate research, improve decision-making, and even save lives. It's amazing to think about how this technology could impact so many different fields. We've been talking about medical research, but what about other industries?
The possibilities are pretty much endless. Imagine you're a lawyer researching a complex case. You need to sift through mountains of legal documents. CDE could help you pinpoint the most relevant precedents and arguments in a fraction of the time.
Or think about engineers working on a new technology. They could use CDE to search through patents and research papers, uncovering solutions that might have been buried otherwise.
And it's not just about finding information faster. It's about uncovering connections and insights that we might have missed otherwise. Remember, CDE doesn't just look for keywords. It understands the underlying meaning and relationships between concepts.
So it's like having an AI assistant that can connect the dots for us, revealing patterns and possibilities that wouldn't be obvious to the human eye.
Exactly. It's like having a superpower for navigating the increasingly complex world of information.
This all sounds incredibly promising, but you mentioned earlier that this technology is still in its early stages. What are the next steps? What needs to happen to make this vision a reality?
You're right, there's still work to be done. Right now, CDE has been tested primarily in research settings. The next challenge is figuring out how to scale it up to handle the massive amounts of data we deal with in the real world.
It's one thing to analyze a curated data set, but quite another to tackle the entire internet, right?
Precisely. But the researchers are already working on ways to make CDE more efficient and adaptable. And as the technology matures, I think we'll see it integrated into all sorts of applications and platforms.
So to wrap things up, what's the one big takeaway you want our listener to walk away with today?
The way we search for and understand information is about to change dramatically. CDE gives us a glimpse into a future where AI doesn't just retrieve data, but helps us make sense of it, uncovering hidden connections and unlocking new possibilities.
It's a future that's both exciting and full of potential. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into contextual document embeddings. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the future of search.